All right, my family's gonna torture me with movie number 1. And what is the movie, Katie? That's the scary part, part 2. We got our popcorn, our snacks, and here we go. Okay, it's dark, like spooky dark. It's really late. We finished watching Nun 2 at the drive-in, and it had some jump scares. I think overall it could have been better. I think you have to kind of give up on any pretense of what you think about, like if you know this series at all and demonology and stuff, like pretend you don't know anything about it because it doesn't stick to any rules. And we all kind of agreed it was about 15-20 minutes more in that movie than was completely necessary. There were some things that were made a big deal of in the beginning that never came up again, things like that. And so we were all just kind of a little disappointed. We think the first Nun movie was better and the other Conjuring movies way better. But yeah, not sorry I saw it. It's my first on October 1st, so I gave it overall 3 out of 5 ghosts as far as the jump scare and scariness of it. So it did have moments where it had me covering my mouth, kind of nervous and scared, but not nearly like the first one. And then for the movie, I also gave it 2 knives as far as the bloody out of 5 knives. So again, it was a solid start to October 1st. For Spooktober. The book that I finished today, though, was Inheritance, a brand new series by Nora Roberts. This is book 1. It had some haunting, and so a little bit of scare, a little jump scare in there, and so I give it 1 out of 5 ghosts, not too scary, and no bloody knives, at least not yet, not in the first book. Maybe in the rest of the trilogy there will be. And Stevie is attacking my foot, so I'm gonna go for now because that really freaked me out. I am so jumpy after the movie. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, so I finished Sign Here by Claudia Lux, and it was okay. A full review I'll still be doing at the end of the month like normal, but I'm going to give it a 3-star, and it actually will not get any little spooky ghosts in the rating because it really didn't have that kind of jump scare or haunted feeling, but it does get 1 knife because It did have some gore, a little bit of blood, but it felt more like a murder mystery meets the supernatural of the, peyote being from hell and stuff and his workforce. So yeah, I finished it, and I gave it a 3-star because I really liked Peyote's story, didn't care as much for Silas and Lily and their family, and was really confused why we were even looking at them. And then they tied it together in the end, but the very end I was like, really? So that's why 3-star. But like I said, I'll be a little more thorough at the end of the month. So far, not too bad for October. I'm a little nervous for the movie tonight, but so far not too bad. Okay, we just finished this movie slash documentary. I'd say, honestly, the scariest part for me was the sound effects. So, like the extra music and stuff that they added to it. Otherwise, it felt kind of cheesy. It felt kind of like some of those weekly shows you can get on Netflix or whatever that are ghost hunters kind of a thing. Yeah, it's a great way to ease me into Spooktober, though, because it really wasn't that scary. What'd you guys think? Katie? So, yeah, there you go. So it's day 3 of Spooktober, and I just finished my 3rd horror book. It went really quickly. I had chosen it as a book of the month pick and got it through them with audio. So I just finished Gone Tonight, and I'd give it about a 3-star. It wasn't bad. I really enjoyed most of it, and the writing style was, really easy to follow. I think mom's got issues, and I'm left kind of concerned for some people. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to ruin the very ending. But no, it was good. I give it no ghosts because it really didn't have any jump scares or hauntings or spookiness like that. It was more thriller, with the concern of possibly this horrible person from her past finding her and exacting revenge on her. And then I did give it actually 1 knife, just because there is a little bit of blood. There is a little bit of gore going on. So yeah, all in all, it was a good read, and I'm still doing okay. I am a little scared of what the movie's going to be tonight, but so far, October has just been super easy, you guys. So we finished watching Babadook on Hulu, and um, I don't know if my family's just really wanting to take it easy on me for Halloween, or if like the person who does the trailers like really knows how to make them look so much better than they are. Just a heads up, I did give it 2 ghosties out of 5. I think Nun 2 is still by far the scariest. It had moments of jumpiness, and like you're wondering if it's psychological or if it's really happening, which adds to the creep factor. We all agreed that the music in this, for the most part, was spot on. Whoever did the music mix really added to the fear of each scene. And I think if it had stopped about 20 minutes before the end, I think all 3 of us would have rated it much, much higher. I'm not going to ruin the ending. I don't like spoilers, but it starts off real slow. Hang in there. That middle section is really good. Like, it will pull you in. Super scary and creepy and weird, and what's happening. But yeah, then when you think is about to end, it actually continues on, and not in a good way. It feels like they just slapped some scenes together. They didn't even have sound. Like there was no music or anything during the scenes, and you're just like, feels weird. And then you start seeing parts that when you see this, you'll totally agree with me on this. I know those of us that were raised on Freddy Krueger from back in like the 80s, 100% feels like some of those movies. And it's just like, oh no, you were doing so well. No. And then the very, very ending, instead of being something that makes you go, huh? Instead, it makes you go, huh? Why? Like, why? So yeah, gonna do two little ghosties because there was the psychological in the middle that was actually really good and kind of creeped me out. Had to do the test of a scary movie, the blanket over the mouth. That's for when I scream. That's the big test. So I did have to do that in the middle. And then I did one knife because there is some blood involved. Heads up, there is a bit of animal not good, I guess I'll say. I don't want to ruin anything, but obviously we know it's a fake at that point. So anyway, that's all I've got for Babadook so far. I think day one was the scariest, so, and it wasn't that bad, so my family must really love me. I'm reading Blanky during sprints, and I've got cats on the lap. And everything should be cozy. I am at page 30 of a book that only has like 73 pages. And so far we've got the sad event and mentions on the back. And the husband trying to reconcile with his wife because they're both grieving and have kind of been grieving separately. And all of a sudden, he gets a phone call and is seeing somebody dying in this phone call in the middle of the night. And it's somebody who took the blankie with them. What is happening right now? All right, so I finished it. You guys, I guess I'm like not going to be good at scaring even myself with my book choices. There was so much hype for this one though. Everybody was talking about it, and the back of it was even so scary it gave me chills. So it felt almost like the author had multiple ideas on where they wanted to go with it, and so they decided to throw everything in there, and with only 72 pages to explain it all. So it's like, it's not long enough to have fleshed out all those ideas. It's just not long enough. So the first 30 pages were amazing. Like, I felt bad for the loss. I am terrified of this blanket. Like, it was great. And then there were literally like 3 other horror tropes, themes, whatever you want to call it, that were thrown in here and meshed together on puree. And then even the ending, you're sitting there going, what? That doesn't even make sense with anything you've told us about any of those themes. So yeah, so it wasn't nearly scary enough. I mean, I do have several more options here on the shelf, so hopefully one of these bad boys will step up and be a true Halloween. I mean, I don't like horror normally and scary, so I'm finding it really surprising that by this day, I still haven't read a truly scary book. Of course, I also haven't seen a scary movie, so I don't know. Maybe I can't be scared anymore. Maybe my tolerance for horror has grown. Maybe horror's gotten weak over time. You guys let me know in the comments below, because I gotta say, I'm underwhelmed. Okay. I set myself up for failure. I challenged my family. I'm like, I haven't seen any scary movies. The Nun 2 was kind of scary, but like outside of that, these movies that they've been working all year to make a list have not been scary at all. And then the books I've been reading have been letting me down. They've not been scary at all. So I came in super confident. And there were several jump scares in this one, and that is No One Will Save You, and it's streaming on Hulu. There's been a lot of previews for this. I'm not going to spoil anything. In the beginning, it was super jump scary, just like the preview show, horror, you know. And yeah, it did. It got me a couple times. But then it moves into more sci-fi, and that's okay. We love sci-fi here. We're big on aliens and all of that. So like, you know, we're good with sci-fi. Then it moves into artsy. Like at the very end, it's very artistic, and that's got me not liking it as much as I was when it was just straight horror and sci-fi thrillery. But I'm not mad at it. I'm going to take some time to process it, but I'm not mad at it. So I gave it 2 ghosts for the jumps, and I gave it 2 knives for blood. There is a bit of blood and stabby and stuff going on. So, but yeah, overall, I am not sorry I watched it. Overall, even with the strange artsy turn it took at the end, I think I've liked this one the best so far. I think this is one I could watch again and not be mad at watching it again. And I may even do that once Halloween is over, like Spooktober's over, and I can calm down a little bit. I may watch this again, because now that I know what to expect and stuff, I kind of want to see how it, you know, progresses. But yeah, overall, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. I recommend it. So that's all for now. Okay, so today was an interesting day. I just took a shower, just finished stuff, so I am getting ready for bed. Yeah, it wasn't the best day. Again, I'm really worried that maybe my expectations for horror, since I only really read horror once a year, are like maybe too high, and maybe I need to lower my expectations, because first I finished the book, House of Cotton. This, I gave no ghosts. There were no jump scares. There was no real horror element. She is haunted by her grandma, but it's more of a sad situation than it is scary. And no knives. Not really huge bloody or, you know, stabby. And I give it about a 3-star. It's not that the writing was bad at all. It's just... Definitely make sure you look at trigger warnings on this, because I can see how it could be a very painful book for some people. And there was just a lot of sex in this, like a lot. Like, if not every chapter, every other chapter, she was just hooking up. And I'm not mad at her for that. Girl, you go do you. But it's not what I thought I was going to be reading. I thought I was going to be reading this girl who's down on her luck and gets this modeling job at a funeral home, and it was going to be weird and kind of quirky, and it's just not been that way. And I don't know why. There must be some artistic thing that I'm totally missing. It's just me. It was not written for me, clearly. So that was a disappointment, as some of these books have been so far. And so then the movie that got picked was called The Black Tapes. It's on Amazon, and it started out really good, you guys. Oh my gosh. 3 ghosts and 3 knives, and like... so scary. I actually screamed out loud at one point, up until about the 42-minute mark. And so the whole premise is these tapes have an underlying theme that they all have in common, but they're not the same people. And so they're like different stories going on these tapes. And so like there were a couple storylines that were really, really good. Like these guys who were like trying to study sleep and demonic things and stuff. And then for this couple that was being haunted and harassed, having these ghost hunters coming over, weird twisty stuff happens, and a lot of jump scares for me. And so yeah, it was really, really good. And then it gets the 42-minute mark, and then it gets like super, super pervy, just pervy. I mean, that's all I can say. And a hint so that we keep it kind of, friendly around here, because my own kid watches my videos. There's sites you don't go to because they can download bad viruses on your computer, okay? And one of these tapes that's found has to do with some girls being on that site. So yeah, it's like, really, why is this necessary? Why did this have to be a part of the horror anthology thing you're doing here? And it was just really dark and pervy and just no. So I just was like, really, unnecessary. Like the first two were really good. Why did you have to do this? So it was just super disappointing for me. And especially since we're trying to watch these as a family and stuff. And when we looked ahead of time, all we saw was a rated R, which so's John Wick. And there's none of that nonsense in John Wick. So it's like, we didn't know. Blood and horror, she's all about the blood and horror. So we thought it'd be okay. And just a heads up for you parents out there, it's not. But up until about the 42-minute mark, it's fantastic. Weird and twisty and dark and scary, but fantastic. If they had just stopped there, I would have given it all the accolades. But I guess I just expect too much. And so I need to lower my standards because nothing's just a true horror, you know, like back in the days that I grew up with Freddy Krueger and, you know what I mean? Like they were cheesy, Halloween, but they were scary and I miss that. So I just finished Gallows Hill. Oh my gosh. Probably should not have chosen a rainy day to do so. Last night it was so scary. I was jumping over every little thing. When I took a shower, I had to make sure my husband was outside the door talking to me the whole time because I was so scared. Anyway, so I finished the rest of it today because I was about half a day ahead anyway. And, oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. It's so freaking scary. My first Darcy Coates. Now I see what the hype is with her. She's amazing. It feels a lot like House on Haunted Hill, only there's not siblings. It's just one girl who inherits the house and the vineyard and stuff from her parents who've died. And thankfully there's people in the village that are friendly and know about what goes on here so they can kind of help her out. But like as it's getting towards, you know, the end of it, they're like telling her, okay, we have a 3-step plan we're going to try to help you with so you can maybe survive tonight. And it's like, step 1, you need to make sure that you do this, this, and this. And step 2 is after you hear the homemade alarm system go off, which means that they're on your property. And she's like, what's step 3? And they're like, they're in the house. Oh my God. So I had to stop there for the night so that I could actually sleep. And then, yeah, today, every time there was lightning or thunder with this rain, I jumped. Several times I was jumping like crazy. Just when Katie wanted to talk to me or say something, I'm like, what? Dear God, what? You know how I'd been whining and complaining that none of the movies or books were really panning out to be a true horror and give me what I would expect to be feeling for Spooktober? This totally did. So don't think I'll be complaining the rest of the month now. I give it a 4-star only because I will not reread any horror books. But otherwise it would have been a 5-star if I was a person who would ever reread a horror on purpose. 4 for me, a 5 if I was anybody else on the planet. And definitely going to read more Darcy Coates, you know, if not this Spooktober, in the future, because it hits all the points. And it's got a 5 out of 5 ghosts for sure. Like I said, it had me so freaking jumpy, like I couldn't handle any noises or anybody around me, cats or otherwise. And 1 bloody knife. It really wasn't overly grotesque or bloody. So, but there were a few descriptions of things that were kind of grotesque. So the 1 bloody knife, but oh my gosh, you guys, I am never going to complain again. So we just finished watching Us, and I believe it was on Amazon. I'll make sure for sure by the time this video goes up. Wow, just wow. It was probably 3 ghosts as far as like the jump scares, and it's not like haunted at all. It's very psychological. It's very someone's after you, like kind of a thing. It's none of that's a spoiler. You see all of that in the preview, but oh my gosh, it makes you jump, and it's kind of a and directed by the same person who did Nope, so you can kind of understand how it's going to be a little scary, a little tongue-in-cheek. A lot of times you're going to be like, oh yeah, and then there's other times that you're like, what's going on? So it was good. It kept you guessing. I give it probably 3 knives because it was pretty bloody, so just prepare yourself for that. It was really good though, guys. It was really good. I'm glad that I watched it during Spooktober. I'm glad to have it as part of this week where sometimes these movies have been a big miss for me. I really liked it. I do recommend it. Just, wow, prepare yourself and hang in there, because towards the end it starts to feel like it's just kind of dragging on. Just hang in there because all will be revealed. But wow, just wow. Okay, so today's book was The Last Word, and I just finished it, and oh my gosh, it's nonstop. It's thriller. It's got a woman, a dog, author, somebody's out to kill her. You question everybody, like who's really friend, who's foe, is this story true or not? Like, you'll have so many theories, and just when you think it's done and wrapping up, there's more. So really good though. I gave it a 4-star. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the pacing. I enjoyed the story itself. It's not, the twists and turns weren't ones I'd seen before. Yeah, I really the cats enjoyed it, and so I highly recommend it. And as far as the rating goes, I would give it 2 ghosts. Again, not any kind of haunting, but definitely thriller jumps and scares, and oh my gosh, are they gonna? And then 2 knives. It's a little on the bloody and dark side, but not like slashery. So anyway, enjoyed the ride, and a great way to wrap up this week. Okay, we just finished watching Mama. I didn't realize it was that old, that it was 2013. That just kind of blew my mind. But yeah, it holds up. It holds up well. There was creepiness. There were some jump scares, but it was also kind of sweet. So, I mean, I really liked it, guys. I think this was my favorite movie of the first week. It did have the spookiness, like I said, but also feel good stuff, which is like the perfect combination for somebody like me. So yeah, like 2 thumbs way up. Absolutely love it. Can't think of another horror movie to watch that is going to come close to it. But for me, it gets, I'd say, 2 ghosties, because there was a bit of jumping and there is ghosts involved. And as far as knives, I would give the movie probably maybe 1 knife. There really wasn't a lot of blood kind of thing. There is some grisly moments, but again, not super gross and gooey. So anyway, so far so good. So now at the end of the week, I can let you know my spook meter, right her, and I'd say it's about a 2. So I am surprised. Gallows Hill, I for sure thought was going to push me way over, but today was kind of laid back again. So I must just be picking ones that just aren't super scary outside of that. So yeah, I kind of like being eased into it. So I'm kind of hoping my family's just taking it easy on me, and they're not going to be like crazy scary next week. I'll let you know. Stay tuned.